In this video, we're going to discuss Sass. Sass is a little confusing for some people, but I'll tell you what, it is very powerful and I love it. To begin with, we're going to take a look at the CSS file that was generated by Sass that I've been working on in a project here. So I've got a Sass playground project that I use to try out things. And this project is only HTML and CSS. There's no JavaScript in it yet. So everything I'm doing here is strictly with CSS. And I'm using Sass to generate the CSS. Now if you notice, this file here is quite long and quite lengthy. It's got almost 800 lines. You're not going to want to go through and maintain this file. Sass allows you to break things down into much smaller pieces. So as an example, here's the base CSS. It's 100 lines. That's kind of long. Let's look at the button. The button Sass is only 91 lines, but in the button Sass, it's doing a lot in here. And this one right here is the one I want to focus on. So many of you have developed mix-ins, and so I've got a mix-in here and I've got some values. These are global and I use it inside here. I have some default values, so if I don't pass a value into my mix-in, it will use these values over here. Now this is another mix-in. Now wait a minute, you ask, why am I using corners? Well, corners, if you go up here, it says use corners. So in Sass, they changed from using an import. We're supposed to be using the use now, the use and the forward. I'm using the use in this to use different components. And when you use something, so corners, that's where this comes from. I could say as and give it a different name or a different handle, think of it that way, and have a different thing to use there. For those not familiar with a mix-in is used to do a whole lot of work and with just a single statement. Down here, we see here's a list, and this is new to me. I've never done this before, so I'm trying this out. I have a list of buttons, and I have primary button, small primary, and medium. Secondary, small secondary, and medium. And I'm doing the same thing for tertiary, the OK button, the cancel button, and the stop button. How do you go through that list? This is brand new to me, so I'll try to explain it as best I can. Here is my list, and this list is grouped. You'll notice there's parentheses around each piece. So there's a null and a primary. This is the prefix and this is the name. Prefix, name, prefix, name. So here's your prefix and here's your name. And at this point, what I'm doing is I'm saying put a dot because this is a class it's creating, CSS class. And then the prefix is inside this delimiter here, pound, open curly brace, close curly brace, and then button, dash, and then the name, open, close curly brace with a pound in front of it. This is not showing white here. I don't know why, it's just my editor, but it does work. And so what happens is if this is null, in other words, there's nothing in there, this will be blank, but the name, primary, will go here. And then if the name is primary, I include the button base, which is this guy up here. This is my mix-in. And the mix-in is creating all these things here. Now here's that corners rounded. This is giving rounded corners with a radius. And the radius is passed in right here. It's a parameter. So let's see down here, we're not passing anything in radius-wise. We could, but we're not. We don't have to. The reason we don't have to is it's going to be using the radius from corners. The default, so here's the variable, and here's the default value if you don't pass anything in. Base button, for the primary one, we don't pass anything in. We just take it as is. For the secondary, we're passing in the secondary background color and the border color. That's the two parameters. Then for the tertiary, we have transparent background and transparent border color. Make sure, yep. So here's the background color, here's the border color. Then we do the same thing for the OK, cancel, and the stop. For the OK, cancel, and stop, you'll notice I'm also passing in a text color. The text colors, because it's a little different for those than the other. But if we go back up here, our text color is defaulted to the button text color. So that's why we don't have to pass it in to the others. If the prefix is small, it scales it with a 0.7. If it's medium, it's 0.85. So it's 85% and 70% of the full size button. Then here's a button group, and here's a media change. So this is used in displaying the button on the screen. But up here, this section is all that's used to create the buttons. Let's take a look at some of those buttons. Go down here. All right. So we have the button primary. If we go back, let's put this over to the side so we can see, minimize that. So if we go in and we see the primary, so here's the primary, and that's being passed in to the base button here. This right here is what's creating this. So here's the hover, that's where that's coming from, and the active, and the pill. For the pill shape, that's what would execute there. Now this is actually going through, if you see, everything over here matches over here. And here's our radius rounded, here's our rounded corner, and then our hover. So our hover has if it's not transparent, you're going to get a color, and this is what was sent in. So it takes this background color and makes it an RGBA with the separate parameters there, and then the cursor type is pointer, and then the hover border color is set there. So this is the primary color that we see here. Now let's go and look at here's the small primary, and here's the medium primary. Now the scale is the only thing different. So for small, it gets go down here, 0.07 and 0.85. If you'll notice, this is the way this is built. Your mix in, which is this base button. Okay, that's called right here. And then the base button, after that's called, it will then, if it's small or medium, it will add these in there. So that's why you see that there, and it all puts it in here. What I like about this playground project is I can run it and see exactly what's created. So I'm looking at this CSS file here. You'll notice that none of these have a CSS file because they're all includes. They all have a leading underscore. If a Sass file has a leading underscore, it's not to be compiled alone. It's actually to be included or used in this case. Used to be included, but now it's used. And so it all comes into the site CSS, the one that is actually generated. So this is how I tell if my Sass is working and if there's a problem. So if it's not going the way I want it. So here's the secondary button small, and we got the medium. And you can see from all the CSS that's generated here, there's not much Sass over here. It is a little complex, but if you understand it, it's not that complex. You just take it one piece at a time. So this list is extremely powerful, and then using the @each allows you to go through the list. And I know most of you are used to using a list in Java or in JavaScript or TypeScript. This is very similar. This is very, very powerful. So that's one of the things I just learned, and I really like it. So now you can see all these other buttons. Here's the OK button. So here's the OK button, the hover, the active, the pill, and it just keeps going down and down and down. Now pill, notice it's a dot here, meaning that button OK and pill have to be in the same class equals segment. We'll take a quick look at that in here. So right here you see the pill, and then here's the stop button. So if we go down and we look at the stop button, here's the stop button and here's the pill. So that right there, this comes into effect, that rule, when you do it like this. So the fact that there's no space says they have to be together on the same tag, and if there's a space, then pill would be in a child of the button stop, but that's not what we want here. So let's go down and check this out. This is the toggle. So let's go back over to the web and let's look at here's what was generated by all of that. And as you can see, this works pretty well. Now, the buttons right here, this is what we were talking about. All of this was generated with that bit of code. Now, I will put this is actually on GitHub, this repository. I will put a link to it in the description of the video. Let me know in the comments if you have any further questions on this, and I'll do another video on different parts of this. I hope this video has helped you. Please like and subscribe, and we will continue to make more videos. Thank you.